They will not remember what you did. They will remember what they saw. The truth of a deed dies quickly. The image of it lingers, shaped not by fact, but by framing. You may win the war, but if you lose the theater of perception, you have only traded bullets for whisper sand. Whispers destroy more quietly, more completely. A ruler does not govern reality. A ruler governs belief. Perception is the bloodstream of power. Every act must be considered twice, once for its function and once for its portrayal. The foolish believe power resides in action. The wise know it lives in interpretation, and interpretation can be bent. You do not merely seize the reins of power. You seize the spotlight and decide what the world sees when they look at you. If you do not, someone else will, and they will not be kind. A prince who forgets this is not simply naive. He is already deposed in the eyes of those who matter most, the watchers, the whisperers, the masses who hunger not for truth, but for the illusion of strength, coherence, destiny. They do not care what you are, they care what you symbolize, and that symbol must be curated, like a weapon sharpened, mirrored, and clean. To lead is to become myth before death makes it permanent. The modern ruler is no longer shielded by steel or fortresses. He is naked in the glare of lenses, buried beneath layers of narrative, suspended in the digital fog where truth is currency, counterfeit, and commodity. His throne is not carved in marble, but composed of carefully aligned perceptions. This is the new battlefield, silent, constant, merciless. You do not bleed in this war, you fade. Control the optics or be devoured by them. Those who command images command outcomes, and the first image that must be mastered is your own. Learn to shape your face before the people. Learn to speak in tones that reassure or ignite, depending on what must be provoked. Your silence must be interpreted as calculation, never confusion. Your errors must be seen as feints, not stumbles. Even your defeats must carry the illusion of strategic retreat, not weakness. Because once the scent of uncertainty clings to you, the hounds of doubt will not relent. The ruler must learn to act twice, once in reality, once in perception. The second is always more dangerous. Appear strong when you negotiate. Appear just when you punish. Appear calm when chaos erupts. Your gestures are not yours. They are messages to the audience that believes it is free while it is being led. Never let them see the machinery, only the mask. Control resides not in staged performances nor in fragile love, but in fear, properly instilled, and authority rigorously maintained. The masses must not adore you. They must dread the chaos your absence would bring. For they crave not a mask, but a father figure to identify with. Your enemies understand this. That is why they smile in defeat and speak in riddles. They are not defeated if they control the story. So do not waste time hunting truth. Hunt impressions. Shape narratives as generals shape battles with calculation, terrain analysis, and ruthless willingness to sacrifice pawns for position. Do not believe that sincerity wins hearts. Sincerity is fragile, but confidence, rehearsed and radiant, can move nations. The people do not seek truth nor belief, they seek the illusion of stability. Give them appearances, and you hold their obedience. If you are too honest, they will find you disturbing. If you are too distant, they will find you untrustworthy. Balance is not found in truth. Balance is found in the precise manipulation of visibility. Reveal what seduces, conceal what corrodes, and if the two are ever the same, make sure you lie with grace. Optics alone cannot sustain power. It is not the mask, but the unconscious ties to authority that preserve the state. A leader endures not through deception, but by embodying the ideals and instincts that the masses project upon him. You are not masking weakness, you are defending the illusion of strength, upon which every fragile alliance rests. Because once the image breaks, it cannot be reforged. Even your virtues must be weaponized. Mercy must be timed. Humility must be strategic. Generosity must purchase influence. not moral approval. You are not being watched for goodness. You are being watched for direction, for dominance, for coherence. If you do not project it, someone else will project over you. Never confuse visibility with vulnerability. The visible ruler sets the tempo. The invisible one is shaped by others. And yet, you must not be obvious. There is an art to being seen just enough, to speak without giving yourself away, to gesture without surrendering control, to bleed without letting the blood stain the crown. This is the paradox. To lead, you must be an actor without believing your role. Believe it, and you lose yourself. Disbelieve it, and you lose your audience. You must walk the edge of your image like a wire above a pit of silence. And when you fall, and you must already have prepared the narrative that makes your fall a signal, not a collapse. The modern sovereign does not die from swords. He dies from screenshots. So build your image not with spontaneity, but with calculation. Study your face in the mirror, not for vanity, but for precision. Learn the art of the pregnant pause, of the controlled frown, of the rehearsed stumble that gains sympathy, of the accidental leak that sends a message. Master scandal, and it cannot master you. If they expose your vices, reveal them first, under your terms. Turn shame into strategy, confession into control. This is not manipulation, it is statecraft, because there is no truth in politics. There is only narrative and the architecture that sustains it. Ask yourself this: who is the real ruler? The one who commands the army, or the one who makes the people believe the army defends virtue? To rule is to curate belief in a world that has no center. You must become the axis, not because you are right, but because you appear necessary. They do not need to love you. They do not even need to like you. They must believe that without you, the world disintegrates. That belief must be engineered. So do not seek to be understood. Seek to be indispensable. And never forget, power is not maintained by truth. It is maintained by coherence. If the people believe the lie together, it becomes their truth, and you its guardian. So again, I tell you, control the optics, or be controlled by them. The stage is set, the lights are on, the world watches. Are you performing your image? Or are you being written by theirs? Then comes the question no ruler dares speak aloud. How much of myself must I murder to preserve the illusion? The answer is always enough. Enough to silence the part of you that still seeks to be known rather than obeyed. Enough to extinguish the instinct to explain, to plead, to justify. The sovereign does not explain. The sovereign defines. There is no room in command for the luxury of authenticity. What you feel is irrelevant. What you project is law. To lead in this world is to inhabit contradiction. You must act with the cold clarity of a machine, and yet appear animated by passion. You must calculate with cruelty, and yet bleed, on cue, for the public stage. You must be distant enough to command awe, yet close enough to inspire devotion. These are not traits, they are techniques. They must be rehearsed until they feel innate, and then hidden beneath the veneer of spontaneity. The audience must never see the gears, only the gaze, only the frame. Power is never static. It is a current that must be directed, deflected, weaponized. Those who think of it as a possession already belong to someone else. You do not own power. You conduct it, and if you fail to shape the flow, it will flood you. That is why you must never rest. Each day brings new optics to manage, new interpretations to counter, new illusions to construct before breakfast. There are no victories, only reprieves. The modern prince is not simply a leader. He is a curator of atmospheres, a custodian of signals. He must understand that in a world saturated with attention, meaning is no longer intrinsic, it is manufactured. The people do not believe what is true. They believe what is repeated, with confidence, by voices that look like authority. So become one of those voices, or be silenced by them. You must anticipate betrayal as a law of gravity, not because you have failed, but because you have succeeded. Power breeds envy, and envy sharpens its knife in the dark. Those closest to you will smile the widest. Watch their eyes, not their words. It is not their loyalty you must depend on. It is your readiness to replace them. Affection is fleeting. Fear endures. You will be loved briefly, then envied eternally. Accept this. Feed them victories. Deny them access. Let your inner circle rotate often. Let no one grow so permanent they begin to forget the cost of favor. Do not seek trust. Seek control. Control can simulate trust far more reliably, and it bleeds less when it shatters. The optics of loyalty are more important than loyalty itself. Public displays of allegiance must be orchestrated like theater. A staged handshake, a photo at the right moment, a quote framed perfectly in headlines. These are your fortresses now. And when disloyalty emerges, as it always does, punish not in private, but with performance. Make the cost of betrayal a spectacle. Humiliate with elegance. Dismiss with a smile. Let others learn what it means to cross you, not from whispers, but from the cold choreography of your retribution. Every moment is a mirror. Every word reflects not just meaning, but position. You are not speaking to inform. You are speaking to place yourself in the hierarchy of perception. Your pauses, your silences, your laughter each, one must be calculated to remind them, I am still in control. Even your stillness must feel like authority. Do not fall into the trap of explaining your strategy. The people do not want to understand how the watch works. They want to believe it tells time. Be the face of the watch, not the gears, not the grind. There will be times when you feel the weight of the mask, when silence feels like suffocation, when solitude begins to rot your instincts. Do not remove the mask, reinforce it. It is no longer separate from you, it is you. Leadership is not a role you play. It is the slow, relentless erosion of what you once were, until only function remains. Charm is useful, but distance is holy. They must feel they can approach you, but never actually touch you. Familiarity is the beginning of contempt. Keep them guessing, keep them yearning. Let them believe they know you, while knowing nothing. Give them glimpses, never access. Give them symbols, never substance. Give them hope, never certainty. Certainty makes them complacent. Hope keeps them in orbit. The most dangerous illusion a ruler can suffer is that the people love him for who he is. They do not. They love what you represent there. Fears neutralized, their desires mirrored, their need for order made flesh. The moment you cease to reflect them, they will reject you. You are not loved, you are used. If you are useful, you endure. If not, you are replaced and forgotten, the myth dismantled brick by brick until only scandal remains. So become indispensable, not through kindness, but through consequence. Let your absence feel like collapse. Let them fear the vacuum more than they fear your will. That is power. It is not enough to win. You must be seen winning. It is not enough to punish. You must punish with timing. It is not enough to be right. You must make your rightness contagious. Appearances are not the mask of power. They are its bloodstream, its nervous system, its core. If the image falters, reality follows. There is no private self. There is only the self they believe in. So master that belief. Control the optics, or die by them. And when the storms arrive, as they always do, you must not merely survive them, you must choreograph them. Let the winds of chaos blow, but make sure they blow where you want them. A crisis, to the unprepared, is erosion, but to the strategist, it is opportunity sculpted in panic. Never waste it. When the world trembles, that is when they look for anchors. Be the stillness they crave, even if you cause the quake. Manufacture clarity where there is none. Speak first, even when you know nothing, because the first frame holds. Truth will follow the shape you give it. Control the first narrative, and the rest is reinforcement. Let others debate nuance. You deal in direction. And remember, power does not merely defend itself. It feeds, it grows, it must devour. A ruler who only preserves will be devoured by those who pursue. Do not wait to be attacked. Move first. Disarm not only your enemies, but the very conditions that allow them to rise. Silence the soil before the weeds can grow. The state is not a body, it is a performance. Its health is not measured in justice or virtue, but in the continuity of control. Justice, if needed, is a costume. Virtue, a melody to distract from the machinery grinding beneath. You do not owe them transparency. You owe them order. The means are yours. The illusion of morality is theirs. You will be tempted again and again to prove your goodness. Resist it. Goodness must be inferred, not proclaimed. A ruler who speaks of morality too often is either weak or hiding something. A ruler who embodies calm severity, whose acts speak without commentary, becomes legend. Legends are immune to scrutiny. People do not dissect myths, they obey them. To lead is to be both present and absent. Present enough to shape the narrative, absent enough to let others inflate your legend in your stead. Your name must circulate even when your hands are still. Fear does not require contact, it requires memory. A single brutal decision, well executed and well timed, can buy you years of calm. Do not shy from it. Mercy invites expectation. Cruelty, if wielded decisively and without hesitation, secures obedience. Applause is fleeting. Fear endures. Let them think you struggle with your conscience. Let them believe your ruthlessness is reluctant. The sheep sleep better when they believe the wolf regrets his hunger. Feed them that myth, but never taste it yourself. Your conscience is irrelevant. Only your function matters. There will come moments when alliances waver, when your closest supporters begin to think they understand you, when they whisper of limits and ideals. That is the moment you must remind them. You are not governed by sentiment. You are governed by survival. If they forget, remind them with absence, with demotion, with silence. Power is not reinforced by explanation, but by distance. You must never appear replaceable, even among allies, especially among allies. If you cannot be feared, you will be managed, and those who manage rulers become the real sovereigns. Surround yourself with competence, not comfort. Let loyalty be tested by pressure, not praise. Those who flatter too quickly are rehearsing betrayal. Those who ask nothing now will ask everything later. Learn to read the hunger behind the smile, the calculation behind the compliment. Every court is a masquerade, and every gesture carries a motive. Assume nothing is neutral. It never is. You are not a friend. You are a center of gravity. They orbit you out of need, not affection. That is your value. Do not become predictable. Predictability is the death of fear. If they can anticipate your mercy, they will exploit it. If they can time your silence, they will speak ahead of you. Be rhythmically irregular. Be a mystery they cannot map. Control is not merely having the power to punish it, is making them believe punishment is always possible. Make examples, not enemies. Eliminate softly, without spectacle, when it serves you. But when spectacle is required, let it burn into memory. Public humiliation is not just about punishment, it is a message to the watchers. This is what it costs to question me. Let them draw their own conclusions. Let them overestimate your reach. Fear thrives in ambiguity. Certainty gives them courage. And above all, be willing to be hated, not casually, but with calculation. Popularity is unstable. Fear, properly administered, has a longer half-life. They will not love you forever. But if they fear the alternative, they will never leave. And should your image begin to decay, reinvent it before they do. Never let them bury you while you're still breathing. Burn the old myth and birth a new one. The great ruler is not one person. He is many faces worn in sequence, each one designed for the moment. That is the final mastery of optics. To be whoever the moment demands, without ever ceasing to be in command. You must not simply lead. You must haunt the political imagination. You must become an inevitability. not through virtue, not through lineage, but through relentless visibility, unassailable coherence, and cold, strategic will. Because in the end, power is not taken. It is conferred by perception, by fear, by necessity. If they see you as essential, they will defend your myth even as you dismantle their illusions. If they see you as fallible, they will wait for your stumble like vultures on the ridge. So build high, cast shadows, and never look down. There is no ground beneath a ruler, only mirrors and knives. And when you begin to taste the weight of your own creation, when the image becomes heavier than the man beneath it, remember this: the burden is the price of sovereignty. You do not wear the crown wears you, and still, you must never let them see the strain. The public must see only the silhouette, never the tremor in your hands. Even fatigue is a risk. Fatigue invites empathy, and empathy, in power, is weakness misread as permission. Rest if you must, but out of sight. Sleep behind iron doors. Bleed behind mirrors. The mask must not slip, even when no one is watching, because someone always is. A sovereign's silence must never seem like hesitation. When you do not speak, act instead swiftly and decisive, lest your quiet be mistaken for weakness. When you say nothing, they fill in the blanks. When you reveal nothing, they imagine everything. Their projections will serve you better than any declaration. But do not confuse silence with inaction. Movement must continue, even when your lips do not. Let your actions become parables. Let your gestures become prophecy. And let your silence become the looming thunder they dread but do not understand. They will write about you. They will guess at your intentions. Feed them fragments. Let each piece contradict the last. Confusion is control when wielded with precision. Certainty breeds arrogance in your enemies. Disorientation humbles them. And remember, never argue. Never descend into explanation. The sovereign does not debate. He demonstrates. The moment you explain, you descend. And the people, trained to respect elevation, will no longer see you as above. You must be seen acting, not justifying. Every response you give, every statement you release, must serve dual purpose: to clarify for the loyal and to confuse the adversary. If you can accomplish both with the same sentence, you are practicing true mastery. Let the people discuss you. Let the press misquote you. Let your allies guess at your next move. This is not chaos. This is the fog in which empires are maintained. Control is not about transparency. It is about managing what cannot be seen. There will be advisors, counselors, and friends who beg you for honesty. Deny it. Honesty is not owed. It is weaponized. If someone insists on knowing your true thoughts, give them two: one that flatters their loyalty, another that plants a seed of doubt. Let them wonder which is real. In their uncertainty, you own the pace of their obedience. Even your past must be rewritten to serve the present. History is clay in the hands of the victor. Erase without noise, replace without announcement. Let the new narrative emerge like a tide, slowly, inevitably, with no visible author. When the truth becomes inconvenient, sculpt a better memory. Let it circulate until even you forget the original. Do not apologize. Even in failure, never apologize. Regret is a weakness, and weakness is an invitation. If you must concede, do it with command. Frame the failure as strategy. Pivot before they can weaponize your fall. And if the world demands confession, give them performance. The appearance of humility can silence the mob if it does not reek of guilt. There is no space for innocence in power. Innocence is passive, and passivity dies quickly. You are not innocent. You are necessary. Repeat that until it becomes your creed. Your justification is not moral, it is structural. Without your control, the system collapses. That is enough. And when dissent grows, as it always will, do not seek to eliminate it outright. Let it exist, but starve it. Let it shout, but remove its platform. You do not fight every enemy. You isolate them. You deny them echo. An idea without an audience is a whisper in a cave. Let them scream into the void while you amplify the voices that serve your design. Be generous with illusion. Give them victories you've already calculated. Let them believe they've won small battles. Let them think they've outmaneuvered you. A satisfied population is easier to manipulate than an oppressed one. Let them dance so long as you own the music. And yet, never forget, beneath every celebration lies ambition. The same crowds that cheer your name will one day carve your statue from stone only to drag it down. Prepare for it. Build legacies that outlive adoration. Seed your influence in institutions, not faces, in rules, not relationships, in systems, not sentiment. Because when your image fades, and it will, the architecture you leave behind must still reflect your will. The true sovereign is the one who remains after the sovereign disappears. That is the final optic. Immortality not as myth, but as machinery. So every day you rise, rehearse your posture, sharpen your tone, study the battlefield of perception, read the undercurrents behind every compliment, the hesitation behind every alliance. You are not waking into a world. You are stepping into a stage, and everyone you see is either an actor, an audience, or an assassin. Trust no applause. It often masks timing for betrayal. And yet, be gracious with it. Smile when they cheer. Bow slightly. Let them feel the illusion. Let them love their part in your play. The people do not want freedom. They want a role. Give them one. Make them complicit in your legend. This is not cruelty. It is structure. This is not manipulation. It is necessity. Because in a fractured world, truth no longer holds the empire together. Only belief does. And belief is born from symbols, from confidence, from the curated spectacle of authority. Do not fear the theater. It is not beneath you. It is your throne. There will be moments rare, dangerous moments when silence will no longer suffice, when the image alone will not hold. It is then that you must speak, but not from the heart, never from the heart. Speak from the architecture of necessity. Choose each word as a blade, not a confession. Speak not to be understood, but to be obeyed. A ruler's voice must do more than communicate. It must compel. It must condition the listener, bend their internal monologue toward alignment, even submission. Your speech is not for information. It is for direction, for programming, for imprinting an order upon chaos. Do not explain the future. Announce it. Let them believe you already stand within it. And always speak from above. The high ground of language matters as much as the high ground of terrain. Elevation is a weapon. Even when you descend, do so like a storm, not like a beggar. Humility in a ruler is only admired when it costs him nothing. Once it costs you power, they will call it weakness. If the world must see you bleed, then bleed with choreography. Turn your wound into origin myth, into prophecy, into proof that you survived what they could not, but never let them see you scramble. Never let them see you react. Reaction is the language of the ruled, not the ruler. They must believe that your pain was calculated, your setbacks designed, your scars chosen. And if you lose control of the story, because at times you will regain it, not by arguing, but by escalation, change the subject with fire. When the narrative breaks, start a new one so large, so urgent, that the old one dissolves. This is not distraction. This is conquest. A new crisis resets the stage. Use it. The sovereign does not play defense. He reshapes the field. You must understand this. Power, in its purest form, is not possession. It is rhythm, tempo, the ability to dictate the pace at which others must respond, react, adapt. He who controls the rhythm controls the outcome. So move first, move fast, and when you do not move, let your stillness be deliberate, not vacant. Even inertia must feel strategic. Let your rivals always feel a step behind. Confuse them with unpredictability. Lead them into chasing shadows, feints, and decoys. Not because they deserve your cunning, but because your dominance depends on their confusion. A ruler must become a fog through which others stumble, while he walks with purpose. This is the war beneath the war, not of arms, but of clarity. And in that war, clarity is rare. That is why you must master it and dispense it like a drug. Give just enough vision to create dependence, just enough certainty to anchor hope, but never enough to let them move without you. Let your clarity become their leash. But above all, never let them see your beginning. The moment they understand where you came from, they will believe they can return you to it. Your past must be obscured, rewritten, or weaponized. If it is humble, bury it in myth. If it is cruel, dress it in discipline. If it is unknown, leave it that way. Mystery is currency. The self you show must be engineered, your origin story sharpened for use, not nostalgia. You are not a man. You are an event, an inevitability, and events do not justify themselves, they happen. They must believe you emerged not from ambition, but from necessity, that you are here because there is no alternative, that without you, collapse would be the only ruler. Let your very existence be the stabilizing lie they cling to. And as time unfolds, as generations pass, ensure your image evolves. Static icons fade. Living myths must adapt. Let each age find in you what it fears, what it craves, what it lacks. Become the mirror of their inner turmoil. Shape yourself as their answer. Control the education that defines you, the commemorations, the portraits, the documentaries. Ensure that even your critics reinforce your centrality. Let them rail against your power and thereby confirm it. Visibility is not risk it, is anchoring. Be everywhere, in shadow or in symbol. You will be betrayed. Count on it. Betrayal is not failure. It is confirmation that you matter, that others still believe there is something to steal from you. When it comes, respond with precision. Never retaliate in rage. Retaliate as if fulfilling a prophecy. Cold, clear, irreversible. Punish not only the traitor, but the idea that enabled him. Destroy not just the threat, but the conditions that gave it breath, and never rush. Revenge must be paced to maximum effect. Let them wait. Let them feel the delay as dread. Let them imagine every knock at the door. Let them decay before you strike. Power is not just what you do. It is what you allow others to imagine you are capable of. And once you have reclaimed dominance, once your enemies have either knelt, vanished, or become footnotes, do not relax. Do not exhale. The moment you believe your throne is secure is the moment another begins to climb toward it. Stability is an illusion. Keep your kingdom in motion. Keep the people occupied. Feed them symbols, elections, rituals, anything to distract from the machinery of permanence. Do not aim to be beloved. Aim to be obeyed. Do not aim to be remembered kindly. Aim to be remembered absolutely. Do not aim to be fair. Aim to be final. And as the years deepen, as the world forgets who you were and remembers only what you became, let the myth continue to evolve without you. Let your name become method. Let your rule become reflex. Let your design shape the minds of rulers not yet born. This is not immortality of the soul. This is immortality of consequence. Control the optics. Control the rhythm. Control the stage. Or be reduced to a footnote in someone else's theater. And when the final moment approaches, not the death of the body, but the disintegration of relevance, do not grasp for sentiment. Do not reach backward toward warmth. There is no redemption in power, only conclusion. You were not chosen to be good. You were not made to be understood. You were forged to be necessary. Let that be enough. Do not fear being alone. The summit is always empty, but from that height, you see what others cannot: the currents beneath loyalty, the design beneath chaos, the faces behind the mask of the crowd. You were never one of them. You were the shape that held them together. And if your name becomes myth, let it be a sharp one. Let it be the name they speak in silence, with caution, with awe. Let it echo not in praise, but in order. Let it move history without your presence. That is the final authority to continue commanding, even in absence. Because this world does not remember intentions, it remembers impressions. It remembers the silhouette on the balcony, the verdict in your gaze, the silence that followed your decree. They will forget your reasons. They will never forget how you made them feel. So walk off the stage without applause. Let the myth close the curtain behind you. Leave no final speech, no gesture of humility, no window into your soul, only the image. And let the image do what you trained it to do, endure. Control the optics, or vanish inside theirs.